In this video, we're going to take a look at how to create a stem and leaf graph. At the top here, we've got the ages of 50 people, and I've put them into classes on the left. That's going to be a really important part in how to create the stem and leaf. In order to help us with creating the stem and leaf, we want to fill in the less than cumulative frequency columns, as well as the more than cumulative frequency columns. So let's start with the less than. Here what we're doing is we are adding the frequencies together as we go down. So 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, plus 7 is 12, and so on all the way down until we get to the end, and we should be at 50, which is what our n is. Now with the more than cumulative frequency values, we actually start at the other end. So we start with the 6 here and then add the 10 above it. So that would be 16, 28, 38, 45, 47, 48, 49, and 50. So again, when we get to the top here, we should be at 50, which is our n. Now, in order to create the stem and leaf, what we note here is that the median is the value that holds the 50th percentile. So it's the one which is right in the middle. So 50% or 0.5 times n, which in our particular case is also 50, gives us that the median is the 25th value. And that is going to be in what class? Well, if we take a look at the cumulative frequencies, you'll see that it's actually in the 70s here, like that. And that's because we're at 22 by the time we get to the end of the 60s, but by the time we get to the end of the 70s, we're at 34. And similarly, when we go the other way. So this is where the median class is. It's in the 70s. And so then what we do is we take these guys right here, and we're going to take these guys right here, and then we're going to take this guy right there. So those are going to be the leftmost column. I'll put those in a moment, but let's jump to the middle column. And the middle column is just simply the tens. So these guys right here. So let's start with that, the middle column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the leaves are the units. So we have 14 here, and then we've got this one here is 21, and then we've got 32, and then we've got 2 9s. So that's actually these two guys right here. Then we've got 53, 54, 54, 55, 57, 57, 57. Just take a look at the numbers at the top as I'm going along. For the 60s, we have a 61, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then 4 8s, 2, 3, 4, and a 9. For the 70s, we have a 71, 72, 74, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 8, and 9. For the 80s, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 8, and for the 90s, we've got 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 7. So you can actually see every single number if you put the tens together with the units. And then what we do is we fill in the leftmost column. So we take these particular guys here, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, 12, and 22. Then we put in the 12. That's this guy right here. And then finally, we put in these guys, 16 and 6. So the stem and leaf is divided into 3 areas here in terms of the leftmost column. These are showing the less than cumulative frequencies up to the median class. These are the more than cumulative frequencies after the median class, and this is the frequency of the median class. So there's a stem and leaf for widths of 10. Let's take a look at one more example here. We're going to use the same data set, but I'm going to do a stem and leaf for widths of 8. Now, it's kind of goofy to even talk about that kind of a problem here. We typically would not have widths of 8. We would have 5s or 10s or 20s or something like that. But I just want to show you what happens when we need to turn the corner. You'll see what I mean about that when we get down here a little bit later. I'm also going to start at 14, which is something that, again, you would not normally do. So you would normally start at 10 or 20 or maybe on the 5s or something. But suppose you were given the task to create a stem and leaf starting with the first number, which is 14, and then go up by 8s. So if you take a look over here, you'll see that these lower bounds go up by 8 each. So 14 to 21 is actually 8 numbers. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 8 numbers. And then we start with 22, which is 8 more than 14. The frequencies, we've gone through this before, so this 2 right here is talking about those 2 right there, and so on. So this is a frequency distribution here. The frequencies sum up to 50. You can see that we really have too many classes because we've got a lot of low frequencies, but let's use this anyways as an example of how a stem and leaf works. So just as we did before, we're going to look at the less than cumulative frequencies and the more than cumulative frequencies. So let's add the frequencies up as we go. 2 plus 0 is 2, plus 1 is 3, 3, 6, 14, 22, 32, 42, 48, and 50. And then going up the other way, we'll have here 2, that's this guy right here, plus 6 is 8, 18, 28, 36, and 44, 47, 47, 48, 48, and 50. Now, as we've calculated already in the last example, the median is the 50 over 100 times our n of 50 is equal to the 25th value. I need to work on my writing. And that is going to be in the 70s, as we've seen before. If you take a look at the cumulative frequencies, you'll see how that works. All right, so what we're going to do then is we take the frequency of the median class, and then we take the less than cumulative frequencies above that, and then below that, we take the more than cumulative frequencies. Oh, I just about forgot that guy at the very bottom there. Good. And then we're going to take a look at the middle column, which is just the tens. So these guys right here. So let's actually put those in first. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9. So that's just the tens. Now we can go through the tedious part here, which is to fill in all of the leaves. So we've got 14, and 21. So this is an interesting one here because you'd think that that was 14 and 11, but because you're going from a larger number to a smaller number, you turn the corner to the 20s. So that's how we would write that, is that's a 14, and then higher than that would be a 21. The next ones are the 22s to the 29s, so that's going to be, well, there's actually none in there. Oops. There's actually none in that particular class there. It starts at the 32 here. So what we would do is we would just leave that blank. There's nothing there. And then we come to the next one here, which is the 30 to the 37, and that's where we would have a 2, and that's it. And then the next one is 38 to 45, and there's nothing there, so we're going to leave that blank. Then we come to these guys, which is the 46 to the 53, and we're going to have 49, 49, and then 53. So again, what we've done is we've turned the corner there with that. What are we up to? 54 to 61. So we would write that as 54, 54, 55, 57, 7, 7, and then the 2 1s for the 61s. 62 to 69 is 62, 63, 65, the 4 8s, and the 9. The 70s is 70 to 77, so we've got a 71, a 72, 3 4s, 2 5s, 3 6s, and then the 78, we've got 78 to 85 would be 8. Where did this come from? I have no idea. I'm just going to ignore it. 78, 79, 78, 79, and 81, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5, and then 86 to 93, 6, 8, 1, 2, 2, 3, and then finally 94 and 97. Sorry, I don't know what this stuff is at the bottom here. I'm still trying to figure out how this particular program works. It's a pretty cool program. And then the last thing that we're going to do is to add in this leftmost column, which are the ones in red. So 2, 2, 3, 3, 6, 14, 22. And then we've got our median class, which has a frequency of 10. And then below that, 18, 8, and 2. And there is a stem and leaf with a class width of 8 and starting at 14. And that ends the lesson. And I guess you can always go to the National Geographic if you want to as well. Don't know where that came from.